Welcome, tarot readers. April here on Tarot and Witchery, and today I wanted to talk about ideas for spring. So I have 5 oracle decks and 4 tarot decks to share with you for spring working. These are by no way exhaustive, let me tell you that, because I could have chosen a lot of decks for spring, but I thought, I want to share these. And then I have ideas. I'll try to make my little boundaries here so I don't go off screen. I want to share some ideas with you for working with these. And then I have 2 books that I want to share with you that I thought might be kind of fun. If you're looking for some reading on tarot and oracle, I've got some book ideas for you at the end. And so I have, let me look here, 8 ideas for working with these cards. Before we jump into it, I just want to let you know that down below in the description box, you're going to find my free learning library. And when you sign up for my newsletter, you get that. I keep saying this, but I'm just trying to do different videos. I really want these videos to be something that take you into a new place with tarot and oracle reading. Instead of the same old, let's break out of that. Let's do some new things. So here's some new ideas. So deck number 1 that I chose was, now I have a couple indie, you guys. So some of these are indie and some of these are mass market. I wanted it to be available to everybody. But the first one is the Stolen Child Tarot, which I am struggling to open for some reason. It's really magnetic. Okay, the Stolen Child Tarot by Monica Knighton. Some of you may know that I struggle with this deck. And so I chose it because it's very spring-like in its presentation, right? You can see that there. It's very spring-like. Let's switch this around so the shadow's on the other side. It's just lovely. It's very spring-like. However, I struggle with it a little bit because the flame, a lot of the flame is in water. So this brings me to 2 ideas. Either you try this deck for your spring deck, which it's glorious. I mean, look at the illustrations on this. I love it. Or try challenging yourself with a deck that maybe you struggle with. It's springtime and energies are fresh. And so, maybe that fresh energy will help you to have fresh eyes for a deck and so that you can see it differently and work with it differently. So this is kind of a twofer right here. And then idea number 1 for springtime. Excuse me. I'm going to throw these out as I go along. Take notes or come back. So yeah, I'm thinking that one of the ideas for working with your spring decks is to find the cards in a deck. So it could be tarot or oracle. Find the cards in the deck that feel like they are opening to you right now. So the energies themselves, like either you can focus on the cards, like for me right now, the Empress is really big and it's perfectly timed. The Empress is really big right now for spring. And so I might pull that card out and put it aside. So I might just sit down with a deck and go through and kind of feel the cards that I'm drawn to during this time in my life. Like, what do I feel is opening to me? Either the energies, like I feel like the Empress energy is really available to me right now, or that I'm open to learning about. Like maybe this is like, oh, okay, this is the energy that I'm open to feeling my way into right now. But there's an openness in me because spring is about opening to that. So I'm going to just put a couple cards aside here. That was not one that I want to work with, but these 2. This is our card of the year, the Chariot. I have a video on that and ideas for working with the Chariot, and then the Empress. I'm going to put these aside, and as we go through, I'll pull out some more. At the back half of this video, I will have, as we go further on, the ideas we'll talk about working with these. Wow, this box I'm really struggling with. So as I go on, I will tell you what you can do with those cards. But, going through and spending some time looking at a deck and feeling your way into it, it's a great way to just sort of go, oh, how am I feeling as I go through the cards? What am I seeing? What am I feeling? All right, let's go over to an oracle deck, the Magical Herb Oracle. I have a before you buy on this if you're interested, and it's by Dear Dandy. It's springtime, and so we're about to move into the time of cultivation. Some of you are not able to cultivate just yet because it's too cold. Some of you might be able to sow seeds. I chose this deck, again, because first of all, I love this deck. And for those of you who want to learn about herbalism, this is another deck that you can do so with that. It has keywords and then the name of the herb that's on here. And so, you know, again, with that same idea, as I'm going through, I can pull out cards that I feel drawn to. This is a really inexpensive deck, by the way, and I think it's a great way to learn about herbs. It's got a great little book with little magical ideas in it. Again, I have an in-depth video, so if you want to see that, you can go look it up. Look up Before You Buy Magical Herb or Oracle, and you'll see it. But, you know, I might go through and just go, oh, reflection. Does that really feel like me? And is that something that I want to learn about right now? I mean, it's a time of change, so maybe I want to go into elder. And I'm going to pull this out because I'm actually planting elderberry this year to cultivate a relationship with the spirit of this plant. So I'm going to pull that out and put it aside so we can talk about that as we go through. But you can see this is a lovely spring deck. And now I'm going to go back. I see acceptance here. I like that one, and it's Valerian. I'm going to go ahead and pull that one out as well so I can talk to you about these different ideas. So next idea on the list, I'm looking over here at my little thing, is you can search the cards for energies that you need, okay? So I grabbed acceptance because that's something that I'm working on. During this perimenopausal phase, I'm really working on acceptance. It's something that I'm working on my whole life, but I'm really focusing on it right now. And my 51st birthday here is April 3rd. So yeah, go through your decks if you choose a couple decks that you're going to work with, and, you know, pull out the cards of the energies that you need. And so you can really pull those out and work with those. I think that's a great way also to get more familiar with your decks. And sometimes you can really be surprised by the feelings that you have towards a deck when you are looking at it, not shuffling the cards and pulling the cards and having the cards tell you what you need, but letting yourself reflect on the cards and letting yourself tell you what you need. It's just a different way to work with our cards. And I really feel like we need to expand what we're doing here so that we don't get bored as all get out with divination, working with cards. Next deck on my list is by Kitten Chops. It's the Playful Tarot. Again, this is another indie deck, but it's beautiful. I love it. And the reason why I chose this, look at those backs. The backs are just beautiful. I love them. The reason why I chose this deck as a spring deck is because it's very playful. And it's just a beautiful deck to pull out. It's very colorful. It's playful. It's the Playful Tarot. Not all the cards are playful. I mean, here's the Page of Swords. There's a lot of energy going on here. And for me, this deck, actually, for some of you, let me just say this. Each deck is very unique. I could tell you what this deck means to me and how this deck hits me, but it may not hit you that way. And I think it's really important to just let yourself feel your way through your decks and let it be what it needs to be. And allow yourself to have your own personal experience. Don't let me define it or anyone else on TarotTube. Just really be free to have your own. I'm going to pull this one out. This is the Two of Cups. I really like this. And that's an energy that I want to cultivate. So that's what I need. That's what I need right now. I'm needing some of this. So I'm going to pull it out and put it aside. Boy, this is going to be a mess to clean up later, isn't it? Getting all these back in there. To me, this is about inner child work, and so I do a lot of healing. This is not a light-hearted deck for me, but it is perfect for spring during this time. Just allowing myself to look at my inner child and maybe check in on what my inner child is needing or wanting at this time. And so this is what this deck is for me. So maybe your spring deck, you want to look for what an inner child deck is for you. Okay, so, okay. So my next idea, I'm looking over at my list here. My next idea is to look through the decks that you're working with and see what blockages you are feeling. Like, do you come to a card and feel like here's Five of Pentacles. This is perfect as usual. Well, I'm going too high up, aren't I? I need to feel like this. How's that? A little bit better. Sorry, you guys. Perfect for me. I feel like this is a blockage right now. Five of Pentacles, really being able to move on, being able to go onto something new, being able to pass up the old in order to create something that's different. I'm feeling bogged down in some ways. So this is the perfect card. It's a blockage. My idea for this is to go through your deck, pull out your card that you feel like is a blockage, but then, well, let's put this over here. But then also go through the deck and see what energy might counter this. Now, this is where I want to say, if you're using oracle cards, it's totally fine to use the words on the cards. If you're using tarot cards, it's totally fine to use the meanings that you know behind the cards, but maybe you want to ditch that. Maybe you just want to go through and look at the cards and see, that's kind of nice right there. What counters it? What energy feels like it breaks this blockage up for you? Again, you can use your mind. If you want to go up into your head, if you want to go up into those upper chakras and think your way through it, that's one exercise and one way to do it. But maybe you just want to feel your way into the cards and see what really feels with picture-wise. What feels right? What feels like it's going to counter that? What feels like it's going to bring you to a place? Now, I like that right there. That's good too. What feels like the opposite of this? And this is a really, look at that. This is a really, the picture is worth 1,000 words, right? Are we using the pictures in the decks that we have, or are we getting caught up in the system? Are we getting caught up in this is what it has to mean? This is what this card is always meant to me. It's springtime. Let's shake things up. Let's let it mean something different. I like this one too here. So I'm going to pull those out, and I'm going to talk about what to do with each one of these ideas here in a little bit. So I'm actually just going to stack these and not put them back. So I will put these aside. I'm going to come back around and talk about what to do with them. Okay, let's do a mass market. No, let's do a indie oracle. So indie oracle, we'll go from oracle to that. I'm featuring the brother to brother oracle here. And, just a minute. Okay. All right, I'm back. This is by Levi Smits over on Masculine Intuitive Readings, our own precious Levi here on TarotTube. And the reason why I chose the brother oracle is because, I love a square oracle, but this has a real green man feel to me. And, we're about to have Beeltana, and that's an energy from the season. This has its own system. It might be something that you're wanting to get to know. There's something very rooted about this oracle, and it feels like the energy springing up from the earth for me. And so one of my ideas here, just on choosing the decks that you use for springtime, is to really think about the energy of spring, what it means to you. Maybe right now you are in a space in your life where spring is not feeling very lively, and spring means something very different to you. And it's okay to explore that and to use what you're feeling right now to choose the decks. So that's just some food for thought there on ideas for choosing your springtime decks, is to allow yourself to really feel your way into it. Maybe take a walk, maybe just meditate or relax or reflect, or see, how am I really feeling about this season? And choosing decks that feel like that. This may be so far away from where you're feeling, but it's where I'm feeling right now. So I chose something that feels to me very Green Man inspired. Okay, so there's that. Okay, next we're on to, I better do another oracle just because I have more oracles than tarot. I should have started with an oracle is what I should have done. No surprise here, you guys. The Mists of Avalon oracle by Rose and Sarah. Really love this oracle. And I chose it because, well, it's Avalonian and I love all things Avalon. This to me just feels like all the seasons, but right now I'm feeling like this is something that's calling to me. The illustrations on this are so powerful and beautiful. It is a shiny oracle, which I don't usually like, but that's okay because the artwork more than makes up for it. It really, really does. I mean, gosh, this is just so gorgeous. Everything is just gorgeous. And somebody pointed out to me on here, which I had kind of done, but I one of you on here, I'm sorry, I can't remember if it was Pamela or Beth, or I don't remember who put it in the comments a long time ago, that there are different keywords on each one of these. And so there's a lot to explore on each card. And of course I knew that, but one of the things that you can do when you're reading with this is lay it out and then pull cards to go beside each word and see what comes up for you. So it's kind of a cool spring deck because, you know, you can pick a card out of here that you like the White Spring. You could just pick that card and then shuffle your oracle or your tarot and put one each there and then read each word and see how they correspond to one another. So it's a really neat deck. I feel like spring is a time of layers where there's so many different layers of being and understanding that are coming up for us. And so it's a time of promise and openness. And so this deck really feels like that. Okay, let me check over here for my ideas. And I think I already said this one, but pick a card to cultivate. So maybe you're like, wow, I really need something to cultivate right now. I need to put this in my life. I know that I need it more than anything. And so as you're going through, you can pick a card. Look, isn't that spring, sacred union? That's totally Beelzebub right there. Pick something that you want to cultivate in your life. You could do this in multiple areas of your life. You could say, well, spiritually, I'm going to choose one for spirit. I'm going to choose one for, I'm going to choose this one, the Lady of the Lake. And I'm going to try to see what's written on here. And of course, the goddess, otherworld, mystery, and self-knowing. So very in line with everything that I'm doing. I just lighted on this right when I was talking about it, and it was perfect timing. It was the universe was saying this one. So you don't have to overthink it, you guys. I mean, I really just looked at the picture and I was like, yes, I'm feeling that. And of course, I have my own connections to the Lady of the Lake. So I'm going to pull that one out and put it aside. This is such a beautiful oracle. It is not expensive. Oops, I don't know that it's going to be around forever. I'm not trying to create some kind of FOMO thing, but if you are into all things Avalon or the Avalonian mysteries, this is such a great deck. And so brings me perfectly into my next deck, which I chose, which is the Arthurian Tarot. I do know that they are reprinting this. I have the original version. So if you are wondering if this one looks really weird, they are reprinting a new version. This is by Kate Matthews. Oh gosh, what's her husband's name? Why is it not on here? This is the old things. Oh, Caitlin and John Matthews. That's right, John Matthews. You can see I have the old backs on it, but springtime, I'm thinking about the Avalonian mysteries, and this is such a great deck. I would trim this if this weren't an original, honestly. This is an original copy, the original edition, so I won't be trimming it. But I did think about buying the new one so I could trim it just to have the all black borders. But I just love these backs right here. Yeah, so this is the Avalonian Tarot, and it's just gorgeous. It actually goes really well with the Avalon Oracle. They go wonderfully together if you're looking for a companion to either one of those. I think these are beautiful, and of course it's got that, you know, Celtic / Welsh feel, and over there in the Green Isles could be Ireland, but totally right for me, and it feels so alive. It feels like this is a time of the priestess that's rising in me, and so nothing says priestess like the Avalonian mysteries, right? I mean, just, I think Glastonbury all over this when I get there. Oh, I didn't even know there was a Merlin Tarot. Look at that. The Merlin Tarot. May have to look into that. Might not even be available anymore. Anybody have that, the Merlin Tarot? It's a happy little, and of course I have the HalloQuest, so it's a great time to start the HalloQuest, right? I have the HalloQuest, but right now I am doing A Year in the Wildwood, so I won't be doing that. Another great deck for right now. Okay, idea number 5, switching over here to, oh, what do we do with these cards? Okay, perfect. So I'm going to put this aside here and pull down some of these cards. What do we do with these cards? So the first thing that I want to talk about is taking these cards and putting them somewhere, like keeping them out. It's a really interesting idea once you find some cards that you want to work with to decide to keep them out. Hopefully you have multiple decks to keep them out, even if it's just for a week, to really, you know, ask yourself what are you working towards that? Are you keeping your mind centered on it? Are you growing into the card? Are you really learning about this and bringing to mind? It's one thing to draw a card once and put it in our journal and go, oh, I really want to work with this energy, and then never get back to it. So by keeping the cards out, maybe in the morning, just reflecting on them. You could do this several different ways where you're just reflecting on the picture, maybe just noticing new things. Maybe you're thinking about what the card means to you. You know, if you do this over a season, like you revisit it all spring, maybe you decide to pull them out at the beginning of each month, then you can come back and see how you feel differently about the cards. And I pulled these as something that I feel open to. And so reminding myself that I'm open to these energies it's just important if we're actually going to do the work with the cards, right? All right, next deck, oldie but goodie, mass market, the Goddess Oracle. And this is by Amy Sophia, oh my gosh, Mara Shinsky and Hrana Janto. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Have had this deck forever. Why did I choose this as a springtime deck? Because honestly, nothing says spring to me quite like the Goddess. And, you know, this is a great learning deck. It's beautiful. It's older, but it's really wonderful. Again, if this is something that you could say, I really want to work with this goddess in spring. And you could have her out on your altar. You could work with her. There's Sheila Nagig. Look at that. That's just so cool. They're just beautiful illustrations. The book is wonderful. It's just a good jumping off point for each one. She's got she goes through each one of them with a poem. And then she's got the mythology and then the meaning of the cards. So it's really fun and it's just a jumping off point. So again, maybe you want to work with this goddess during spring or a goddess. And so you take her out and you keep her out on your altar, as I was talking about. Or possibly my next one is to journal about. So whatever these cards are, you know, journaling about them. Back here, when I was pulling these out, you know, this was, what was I doing here with this one? I was doing my, energy that I want to cultivate. So, or no, energy that I need. This is what I need right now. Not what I want to cultivate, but what I feel I need. And notice the difference between what I want to cultivate versus what I need. We're not often in touch with our needs. So it's okay to slow down, especially spring, before everything rushes full force, to recognize what we're needing. So, you know, here I put change and acceptance as things that I'm needing. And I might want to journal on what each one of these means to me. If I'm feeling like I'm needing one of these goddesses here, then again, I can journal on that. What that goddess means to me, what she's offering to me, if it's in light of, you know, what I want to cultivate, I can talk about her powers in there and really journal on that. Again, coming back to it over and over again, not letting it get stagnant, returning to it. Or maybe you just want to do it one time. Maybe you're like, hey, once was enough for me to sit down and journal on this. But again, maybe keeping this out on your altar or somewhere where you could see it in the morning and reflect on that goddess and take her with you into your day. All right, brings me to my last tarot, which is the Tarot of Transformation. This is a mass market deck. It is going out of print. So I think what what is available is what's left. And this is by Willow Arlena and Jasmine Lee Corey. This is a very different tarot. It's so powerful. I talked about this in other things. This really crappy cardstock, you guys, but the art is amazing. Okay. It's so beautiful. It's really just gorgeous. It feels very 1970s, 1980s rising feminism movement to me. It's just beautiful. The book, oh my gosh, the book will have you thinking in such unique ways. So it comes as a kit. It doesn't come in a box. It's like really weird the way it's packaged. I've really never seen something packaged like this, so I put it in an organza bag. This is just gorgeous. The art on this is so lovely. It's beautiful to work with. It's really magical. I spent last summer working with this, and now I'm feeling like it's a beautiful time in spring because it's the Tarot of Transformation. And I think this can give you ideas on how you want to move into yourself in the coming season, because spring is really about new beginnings. And transformation starts when we decide to take that step forward, when we decide to go somewhere new. Gosh, these are just fabulous, you guys. The art on these is mind-blowing. I love this deck. Just absolutely love it. It's cosmic. It's perfect for my next idea, which is pathworking. If you're not familiar with pathworking is when you take a card and you just take a time to really meditate on it. Let your eyes move softly over the images, travel into the card, let yourself see what you want to see, and see if you can actually travel into the card and find yourself taking a journey and see what that story is for you. So going back to these over here, here's where I was talking about blockages. And then I put these cards next to it, and I didn't do any, this was not me using my mind, but using the pictures. So it would be good to start by pathworking into your blockage, really letting yourself see and feel whatever it is. You guys, there's no right or wrong. It's really just where you're at the moment and letting it be as little or as much as it is. It doesn't have to be something big. Where we start is not where we end. So pathworking my way into this card, letting myself see and feel whatever is there. Maybe I cry, maybe I get frustrated, maybe I don't. I can journal that if I want. I could just talk out loud to myself. I can just keep it within, whatever. And then after I have a good feeling about this, and when I say feeling, after I have felt my way into it and I know how I feel about this blockage, pathworking my way into the cards that counter that blockage, allowing myself to see how the two of these are sort of juxtaposed, how they create something new and fresh when I go from here into here. And so just taking the time to really do the work with the cards. It's not just shuffle the cards and throw them out and go, okay, Knight of Wands means this. I think that I'm working on my new tarot course on learning to read the tarot, and I want to take people into learning the tarot in a way that comes from their heart, so that when You put the cards on the table, you can read them together. I mean, I'm going to be teaching the basic system as well because I feel that's important. But I just want to take us somewhere different, somewhere new with this. I want people to be empowered by this and allow themselves to really have different ways of moving into the cards. It's not one shop, one thing fits all. Okay, my last oracle deck is Oracle of the Hidden Worlds by Lucy Cavendish. This is so pretty. This deck is so pretty and it's so summery because it's all these different worlds. These are gorgeous. These cards are absolutely amazing. You can totally pathwork your way into any one of these cards. You can journal on these cards. You can just take a little adventure. You can reach new ways of thinking just by looking at the pictures. You don't even need to read the book, although the book is intriguing. It's very interesting. This is a beautiful deck. Oracle of the Hidden World, Hidden Realms, Hidden Worlds, Hidden Realms, Hidden Worlds. It is worlds, Hidden Worlds. Just beautiful. These are just gorgeous, gorgeous cards. Gotta love it. And look, they're landscape. Isn't that fun? The fact that they're a landscape deck. That's kind of different too. Like we get so used to reading decks that all are oriented the same way, vertically. How nice is it to change up our brain? It's spring. Let's do things differently. Let's try something new. Let's push ourselves to be something new, to allow something new to happen in spring, So these are just gorgeous cards. Let me look. I know I have one more idea. Chart your progress. Like I said, where we start is not where we end. So how about really taking note of where we are and charting our progress on moving into some of the things that we're trying to work on. So again, I'm going to go back to these right here. How am I doing breaking free of this blockage? When I first started, I felt X with this. And now down the road, I'm feeling X. I'm feeling this way. How much do I feel like this has actually helped me to break this blockage? You guys, maybe I drew that card. I picked that card at the time, but it's not working. It's not doing it for me. I'm going to go ahead and let that go. It's not right for right now. This is not what I need. What I found is this really is doing it for me. This is really freeing me up. This is the route. I'm charting my progress. I'm taking the time to really note how it's working for me or how it's not working for me and being honest about that. Just because I give you an idea doesn't mean it works for crap for you. Okay, lastly, I have 2 books and I have a major mess all over here as usual that I'm going to have to clean up when I'm done. I have 2 books I want to share with you for springtime. The first one is a tarot book and it's Andy Matzner. You can see right there. Tarot for Transformation. This is just such a chunky book, you guys. I spent years with this. These are wonderful different ideas. So on nature, the nature of change, and so then it goes into the Fool and it's got all these different ideas for the Fool and it's got words that go with. And it even says, is there more words that you can find? Like, it's not like a rote book. These are springboard ideas for working with the cards in different ways. It's got poetry. It's got ideas for working with it. Okay, this is the tension with which we must struggle. This is talking about the Fool here. So it's got all these different ways of leading you through looking at the cards and diving into them. And then he goes into these ideas of exploring tension, So at the very beginning of the book, I should do a full video on this. I'm not going to right now. Here we go. At the beginning of the table of contents, it has all these different groups of stuff that you can look at. The nature of change, and it goes through all of them there. And so you've got all these different things. You've got mindfulness, becoming the hero of your own life, intuition and rhythms. It's got making peace with food and eating. There are so many different things to explore, topics to explore in this book, and I wanted to just give it a shout out. Candy actually introduced me to this book, and use it as a springboard and let yourself trust yourself to dive into things the way that you need to. But I think this is a good book. The other book that I'm going to recommend is one that every single one of you has already. Can you guess what book that is? Drum roll. The book you already have are all the tarot books that you have. So, and I mean the books that go with the decks. I want to recommend that if you are working with, I mean, you can do it with tarot and oracle, the books for tarot and oracle. I'm trying to grab an oracle book really quick to have out here. Where did I put it? Shoot, it's got to be right in front of me. Isn't this ridiculous? I know I have it. Let's just go ahead and pull. Oh, there it is. Sorry, everyone. No editing going on anymore. I'm done with that. So here we go. I've got 2 books here. So let's say that I am using tarot. How about this idea of using tarot and reading an oracle book at the same time? Like, I know that sounds weird, but the idea is to get your mind just, where are the synchronicities? Like today I pulled the Chariot, and then I decided to open up, and I opened up to Durga. And I read all about Durga, and then I reflect on the Chariot. I know that sounds really weird, but it just helps us to look at something differently. So that's actually idea number 10, I guess. Now, the other idea is to, when you're reading tarot, to get a completely different book that goes with a tarot book, not a little white book. So like, here's the Druidcraft. What would happen if I read my tarot, I've got a visiting dog. He's going crazy out here. Sorry, you guys. What if I pulled out my Playful Heart Tarot, and I've got the 5 of Pentacles, and I decided to go look up the 5 of Pentacles here. There's the 5 of Pentacles. And that day I read the 5 of Pentacles over here, and it gives me a completely different idea, different thoughts on this card. The other idea is to just pull out a book, like maybe you've never actually read your books cover to cover. Pull out one of your tarot books. I mean, Ethany's got some great ones. She really writes great books. Any of Chris Ann's books are really good. But any tarot book that you have, and read it cover to cover. Like every day, wake up and read a card, and read it cover to cover. Like maybe I wake up and I read this chapter on the Outer Mysteries, the Major Arcana. And then the next day I read the court cards, and I make my way through. You know, this one's a little bit longer, but I make my way through, and I just read the book for the book's sake. Why? Because you're going to see it differently. And I really encourage you to choose a book that's not a deck that you're using, because you're going to get a different idea. Or maybe you decide, I've got this and I've never read the book, but I'm going to read the book and work with this. So read the books that you already have. You can learn so much by just using what we already have. You don't need another deck. You don't need another deck. We don't need another deck. We need to use the decks we have. We need to get creative with the decks we have. We need to get comfortable with the decks we have. We need to honor the purchases that we've made. We need to honor our own inner wisdom, and we need to use these decks as jumping off points into ourselves. I think that there has been, I'm not going to go on a rant, but I think there's been a bit of a corruption that's happened with tarot. And maybe I'll do a video on that one at some point. Anyway, this is probably really long. How long is it? I'm trying to see. Oh yeah, 39 minutes. I'm going to just put this up like it is. I'm not going to edit it, nothing. If you got to the end of this video, do me a favor and leave me 3 emojis. that tell me how you feel about your tarot practice right now, or go ahead and write me a long list. What do you think of this video? What do you think of these ideas? You're going to try any of them? There you go. 2 books. It's actually a lot of books if you look at all the books you have. 2 books and 10 ideas for using tarot, and oh my gosh, a lot of decks. 9 decks, right? Is that right? 9 decks. So happy spring, everybody. I will probably not do a video for another couple weeks because I'm only going to do a video when I'm inspired to do so. Until we meet again, may you enjoy the springtime. May its freshness ignite you into new and powerful places within yourself and your reading practice.